Hey, welcome to 512 Talk. This is the weekly video chat from the team of 512 Tech. And this week, Omar wrote about a new app called Sooth. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, this was an app that I'd been looking at since, I guess, before South by Southwest. I'd been talking to the creator, Kate Niederhofer, who actually has a background in research psychology. So this app is about advice. It's about giving advice and getting advice, kind of putting yourself out there in an anonymous way and letting people tell you, in a multiple choice way, like what should you do about a certain life decision. And Kate has a background in, she was at Nielsen and Dawkins Group. She actually has a research and she has a background in data. So this app is very much about figuring out what makes good advice and sort of letting the best advice rise to the top. And then she's also pulling data from Reddit and from this app to kind of determine like who gives the best advice, what is the best advice, who can you upvote the best advice. So she's creating a whole community around people giving and getting advice, and it turns out people love to give advice much more than they like to get it.
Interesting. So is it in beta right now, or can I download it right now and start asking questions?
No, there's a whole community of people right now putting out their problems on it and trying to get advice. She actually put a team of research students, of grad students on it to answer, to kind of offer their insights, so it wouldn't just be like a barren landscape of no advice. But now that that's kind of populated, there's starting to be more community and people asking their friends for advice and in an anonymous way over email and also within the app.
What are some common questions?
People want to know about, major life transitions. They want to know, should I take this job or should I stay where I am? They want to know, I'm not getting along with my in-laws or, my husband's best friend. It's a mix of personal stuff, work stuff. What I was surprised by, I thought everything was going to be really depressing. Like I'm in the throes of a passionate relationship. There's actually a lot of stuff that's like I have two great options here. Which should I pick? Things that are a little bit more practical and down to earth. Not everything is people having a life crisis. So that's refreshing.
Interesting. Can you find it on iPhones and Android devices?
Right now it's only for iOS, and there's also a web version, a mobile web version, but Kate tells me that people vastly prefer the iOS version, so if you have an iPhone, you're going to want to use that.
Great. Well, thanks for joining us this week, Omar. And next up is Lori Hawkins to talk about the latest venture capital numbers. So joining me now is Lori Hawkins, another 512 Tech reporter, and she's going to talk about how this week venture capital activity numbers were released for the first quarter.
Yes, we have some new numbers, and as expected, they are down significantly from the first quarter a year ago. Numbers dropped 49% to $121 million, raised by 25 companies. And
so what kind of companies?
Well, it's a real mix of technology companies. We even had some consumer goods companies mixed in. And the good news is that although the number is down, a lot of the companies receiving money, actually 15 out of the 25 are early stage companies, meaning they're just getting off the ground, unproven, risky, and so that means that investors are still willing to put money into them.
So what do you think this says, just in a larger picture, about the state of our economy and what to expect for the rest of the year in terms of venture capital activity?
Well, talked to a few venture capitalists who said that it is going to continue. They're very cautious. They're talking to their companies. They're telling them, slow down on spending. Try not to need. You don't want to have to go out and raise more money anytime soon. At least through the end of 2016, through the end of this year, probably into next year. But at the same time, this is proof that some investors are still writing checks. So good companies will get funded is what we hear over and over. But this seems to prove that some companies still in this tough environment are managing to raise money.
Well, thanks for watching another edition of 512 Talk, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks.